What's up, world? I'm here with Davis Graham, aka Butter on a Stick. You want to say anything about your YouTube channel to just kind of start off and tell the people who you are?
This is Butter on a Stick. Shout out to 254. Shout out S Town. Block 'em, baby. Um, yeah, on my channel, Butter on a Stick. I know it's a lot to spell, but I mean, you can find it on the interweb on YouTube. Uh, yes, thank you, sir. Um, yeah, I do mostly college football videos right now. Um, probably getting like 10 views per video. So please check out my channel and like and subscribe.
Alrighty. Well, we definitely have a favorite player here on this channel, and it's Yang Hansen. Hansen Yang. I get confused. People have corrected me before. I'm pretty sure it's Yang Hansen, but the back of his jersey says Yang. Don't get too confused. In China, they put the last name first, so you start with your family name. So his family name is Yang, which would be like a traditional American last name, but his first name's Hansen, but the back is his family's name because that's how it is traditionally here. So don't get too confused. The NBA's gotten confused on it, but when we're talking about that, what all do you know about Young? What all do you know about him?
I was told before this podcast to kind of wait on the highlights. I know he's Asian. Um, I don't know what really clued me in on that he was Asian. But I know he's an NBA player. Um, I don't know, man. I'm excited to watch his highlights. I saw he was drafted like third overall. There's something controversial that he said. Oh, 16th overall. I'm a football guy, y'all. I mean, that's what I do on my channel, but I'm about to learn. I'm about to get spit some ball knowledge from y'all's boy. Um, but yeah, I don't know too much.
So I'll just start explaining some of it. Hansen here played in the Chinese Basketball Association, which is over in China, and he was expected to be about the 45th pick and ended up being drafted 16th overall. So it was
People were
kind of,
pissed, right?
yeah, well, not really. It was just like there's not a lot of film on him, but he was just the Chinese Basketball Association Player of the Year. So he was the MVP over there, similar to Luka Doncic, what he did in Spain. He was the MVP of the EuroLeague and then came over. And a lot of teams actually had him higher. The Minnesota Timberwolves were expecting to pick him with the next pick, and then the Nets were expecting to pick him at 20. But none of the teams really knew that other teams were also looking at him. Portland had sent two scouts over whose whole job was to look at him for 2 years. They moved them to China for 2 years just to watch him. So Portland's been watching for a while. He's played with the Chinese national team. He's a 7 foot, 2, 7'3" center who is really good at passing the ball, which we'll see here. And we'll just get into some of his summer league highlights. What there is to know about what scouts said about him. I like to say they made really lazy Asian comparisons. They just compared him to Zach Edey and Yao Ming because he's
I know
tall and
those
Asian.
guys. Yeah.
Yeah. So they said he doesn't move well laterally. He's not very athletic. He doesn't defend well. They did get the passing right because that's gonna like show off like immediately. But just watch these and kind of say what you think about all those stuff and what you notice from him. Also, they said he couldn't shoot. It's another thing.
All right.
But
Well, that's something I could never do in basketball, so I'm optimistic about our boy Yang Hansen. I like that hustle though. He's showing it right there. Ooh.
first play, this is like his literal first game in summer league, and proving the whole athleticism completely wrong here, almost immediately.
Yes, I mean that's beautiful.
Just beautiful.
And he jumped into that one too, man.
Yeah, another alley oop. Just
Beautiful.
super athletic, right?
Yeah, he's always ready for that bucket. You like to see that as a big. Look at that chasing rebounds, man. That's a good ball player. He's one of the good ones out there. Oh yeah.
And another thing about his defense, how I told you that a lot of people didn't think he was good defensively. I
Mm.
think a big thing in scouting. He was the Chinese Basketball Association's defensive player of the year also.
Well, that's a little ridiculous.
So, I mean, they say a
People
lot of
were
times
saying
it's
that.
on the rim. They say that he's good, which is true, but this is where no look.
Wow.
Rod is perfect. I think this pass is pretty impressive. Not very many big men can pass the ball. I
Yeah,
think
that's really good.
Jokic and players like that.
Hmm.
Like,
That's insanely good. Yeah.
yeah, these passes are just next level good.
Well, I am not believing his critics. Yeah.
Yeah, just watching it, just clear that the scouting was lazy.
Yeah. Great
Completely
great awareness there.
mm-hmm.
And even on those first few clips,
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, you can see him getting off his man and then going to the other guy, playing down low. Like I was gonna say about those first few clips that his hustle. I mean, people comparing him to Edie. Oh man, I'm a big time Edie hater because I mean I paid attention to college basketball and his hustle's better than Edie. And
yeah,
so if you want to knock talent, um, who cares? He has the size and the hustle. I think he's just fine. And clearly he's got some talent.
another beautiful pass.
And there's just what you can't teach there. Good IQ. Yeah, he's gonna know how to play in the league.
The other funny part, there was more members of the media at like his stuff than Cooper Flag stuff.
Really?
Because like he's that big to be on China.
Okay, yeah.
So the Chinese they have like that
Oh, they
whole
love
little
the
army.
NBA.
Yeah, the basketball, China and there's another country, the Philippines maybe. The
Mm.
only country in the world with basketball is number one sport.
Oh my
And
goodness.
China is obviously a very very large population
Yeah.
that's able to sustain that large sport. So
Oh yeah,
quite
man.
excited to
They go crazy when the NBA goes over there. Great pass. Oh yeah. Oh, you hear that moan too from the court. You know he likes that bucket. Solid. Yeah.
the footwork. A lot of these overseas players, just their footwork ends up being so well because they play other sports or
Mm.
spend a lot of time in basketball,
Yeah.
Versus like they don't football. I feel like kind of ruins your footwork. I mean, the 3-point shot is what really stood out.
Yeah. That's insane. Because they'll have him stay up top, and he's a big man, and boom, he's gonna sink
Yeah,
that.
it's
Nothing
just
but net.
impressive.
That's insane.
Yeah, that's fake hot in North Carolina.
Yeah. So he matched up against Derek Queen in a video not too long ago.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. People people love that guy. That's all I heard about.
Very
Put
well.
some respect on Hansen Yang, boy.
No three there. Just incredible. Incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, I see the back of his jersey now. Were some people calling him Yang Yang or something? Or
Well, some people, it's
it's a good
still
try.
non constant, but people call him constant non because of the fact that it's on the back of the jersey that will confuse people,
Mm.
because,
But he is showing respect in his culture.
yeah,
Okay, I got you. Yes.
we'll have to go back.
I can see what you kind of mean about football ruining your footwork because I guess that in some situations you're kind of moving upfield or across field. Like
Yeah,
especially if you're a lineman, you're either going up or you're going to the side because you're pulling. And I did soccer and football in high school, and I didn't do varsity soccer. I did varsity football, but I can't say that like soccer is way harder than football because of the footwork that it takes.
yeah,
Um, Football might have been a harder sport for me just because we were in Texas, I was only able to do soccer because no one does soccer
Yeah.
unless they can't make another sport. But
So now we're gonna transition a little bit to just talking about, your own personal experiences. So this goes from, that was all fun talking about young Hansen. It's gonna go in the thumbnail. It's gonna go all there. But now it's time to talk about you a little bit. So, you've already mentioned that you played both football and soccer in high school and played varsity football. Is that really your only experience with organized sports, or what else can you tell us about your organized sports career? Just like very basic.
very basic overview of that. Let's see here. Well, soccer since I was little. So my dad was Army, so we moved around a lot, and so we were in Hawaii for a few years, and so soccer was really the only thing that I had time to be available for. And then never really did baseball. Um, maybe kind of wish I would have, but I don't know. Basketball, basketball is fun. I like to watch it. I'm pretty bad at playing it, but yeah, varsity football, and then shoot, dude, I just do some rec sports over at A&M. That's where I go to school, and yeah, we did this. There's this one intramural league called. Uh, so I did basketball and flag football intramurally at A&M, and then there's another one called Battleship. So this is pretty funny. They put in canoes in like the Olympic sized swimming pool over there that all the whole swim team uses, and you get buckets and you toss it into the other canoes and you try to sink them. We sucked at it because everybody in these intramural leagues, they're like super seniors, and so it's not grouped by classification. Like as a freshman, I'm a freshman right now, about to be a sophomore. Um, once I go back to school in August, this August. Um, but there were all these senior and junior people who knew all these strats to playing like this stupid made up battleship game that was part of the intramural league website that you could sign up for. And it was like these core dudes over at A&M. That's that fake army. If y'all don't know what the core is at A&M, and they were like strategizing this whole time. They were like calling out commands and shit like crap. Sorry, excuse my French, but yeah, I did that, so that's kind of funny. That's another organized sport I did was Battleship. Um, that was kind of fun. That wasn't really a sport. I guess it was a game. People need to recognize the difference between sports and games, I would say. You know, like chess. Chess is not a sport. I would say that's might be a game. You know, hopefully none of you chess players come and beat me up, but you know what I'm saying. But yeah, just for varsity stuff, I did um, football throughout high school. That's my favorite sport. That's what I love. So, yeah, that's my experience.
Alrighty, we'll start talking about football. Um, what age did you start playing? We'll go with a very simple question here.
Mm. I started playing, so like official Holmgren. Sorry, I saw Chet Holmgren. I have a rap song about him. But yeah, y'all look up Graham, all caps, fours for the A's on Spotify. But I started playing football, tackle football in seventh grade. Um, I guess I did football camps that were with Salado, the town I lived in. Um, as a little kid, I would play catch with my dad and stuff. But yeah, seventh grade is really when I started playing catch with my dad. That might be a bit of an exaggeration. I could not catch, but that's why I played linebacker.
Alrighty, well, seventh grade, you start playing football, and what positive benefits did it have on your life almost immediately? A lot of people point to like, what if you were telling a parent why they should let their kid play football, what were the positive experiences that might outweigh the risk of injury when it comes to that?
Um, Football is very important to me, so I think it teaches you to care about something other than yourself. It's a team sport first and foremost, and I mean, I was a lineman for a time in football, and as a lineman, you don't get any of the credit for any kind of touchdown. So, but you still got to work your butt off. Football is painful, um, but it makes you care about your teammates, makes you care about your other people. So, um, I'd say that's a big thing. It teaches you how to work hard because lifting weights and stuff, all of that is hard work. When you're in school, you don't have anything that hard to do besides just showing up at 8 a.m. to do your work. And none of your work is that hard until you start doing like algebra, maybe, which doesn't happen until you're like 13th year of being alive. And so showing up early just teaches you such good hard work and work ethic. So yeah, I mean, you show up like at 6 a.m. rather than 8 a.m. Like most of the normal kids. We had a head football coach, Coach Alan Hare, who would say, if you don't want to do football, go be normal. Go be like one of the normal kids in the hall. And so it really um, gets you to go above and beyond. And so, yeah, number one, I would say it teaches you to care about others. Number two, I would say it improves your work ethic. And number three, I would say, just really any kind of extracurricular activity is going to teach you how to be more social and stuff. Like, I know a lot of kids who are super smart being at a university now, but man, they're just complete duds. And unless they don't have academics, they don't know how to talk to anyone. And so, learning how to talk to adults like coaches a lot when trying to learn technique and, game plans and stuff, learning how to talk to like higher up people like that, and, talking with other students, or really being engaged in an extracurricular is so valuable because I'm a political science major. If I didn't know how to talk and, if I, if I didn't know how to socialize at all, um, I would be screwed because I'm not the highest of all the intellects that might be going to A&M for like engineering or something. So yeah, work ethic, uh, learning how to care about others, and um, yeah, just improves your social life. I would say, I guess.
I gotta just say, like, I 100% agree with your takes on, you know, the whole being able to talk to someone and communication is key in almost everything you do, right? School, you're never really taught about communication. You're actually told to stay to yourself, not look at anyone else, don't ask for help. You're supposed to just don't cheat, you're supposed to not talk, sit there, do your work, and then like you get to a point where you go to work and now you have to communicate with your coworkers and boss. And, me, I'm engaged and I got to communicate with my fiance about a lot of things. And communication really is one of the most important skills you can have in your entire lifetime. People make money selling stuff that's not people like my brother wasn't a real great student. He's gonna make his money because now he's able to talk to people because he learned that skill eventually, right? And I just think it is a really, really important skill to have. And communication is something that we just don't talk about enough until like once you're 20, now you're supposed to have it figured out. Once you have gone to college, they're like, okay, you're supposed to have communication figured out, but we don't help people along the way there. And I do think a lot of sports and extracurriculars really do that because you're working towards one goal as a people. Like if you just went to school, you're working for your own grades. Group project, it's still for yourself. You don't care about the other members of that group. While when you're like trying to get a goal like that in any extracurricular, it's really important. All right. The second question I'm gonna have, you talked about the pros. Now you gotta talk about the cons a little bit. Right now, y'all can't see him, but you're in a sling from a football-related injury that you're just now fixing and everything. I've had my fair share of injury problems, not as bad as yours here. But just like, yeah, it stays in. Mine just pops out. I can just pop it back in. But just for you, like those cons, what can you say about them and how they've affected your life?
Yes. Yeah, number one from playing sports, playing football. Uh, I guess the injuries might be second, but number one is shoot, I would say the depression you might get from football because um, you kind of build your whole personality around the sport. And I wouldn't even say I'm a dude who takes that really that far, um, because I'm I still care about school. I care about like relationships with my girlfriend. Care about my relationship with God. Like football wasn't my only thing, but it's a big thing. And so when your team loses, that's like the worst feeling in the world. When you mess up on one play that cost your team something big, that's all you think about the rest of the night. And if you're not a selfish player, if you're a selfish player, you might think, oh well, it was these other people's fault, like how you might do in a group project or something. Um, it's kind of interesting with school how you can also still grade other people in the group after group project. You can't really do that in a sport. I always like to say, you know, you can only judge others on your team if you've been perfect yourself throughout the whole game, which no one is. And so, messing up, losing, even as a fan, when I see A&M lose, like my weekend is ruined. And so, when you put so much care into something and there's so much passion involved and there's so much rah-rah and there's, an extra, you know, in A&M's case, can't remember how many kids go there, but 10,000 people are in that arena. Um, when there's so much care involved and passion and, you know, people like, you know, overly focused on what's going on and then you fail, that's like the worst feeling in the world. And so, my varsity years at Salado, we went 3-8 and 2-8, and so that took a huge toll on me. I was really depressed after those seasons, and so I would say, shoot, if you aren't on a good team, or you may be on a good team, but you're backup or something, that really hurts your ego and hurts your soul. So depression, but then yeah, shoot, also injuries. It was worth it. I'm in a sling right now, but yeah, injuries suck.
Getting to look back now that you've finished your playing career, what would you tell yourself that was just so bummed about, your record and so into the wins and losses to kind of tell yourself that it's okay, that those feelings, if you could talk to a kid right now who's maybe on a bad team, what would you tell him to focus on to make the pain a little less? I guess I'll say it.
I would say, probably just still continue to go like all out every play. There's still like some games I think about that I don't think we could have won if I played a whole lot better because we were still getting smoked in a lot of those games. But games I think, oh wow, I could have really had a cool sack here or something, but we were already down by 4 touchdowns, and so I was kind of like, oh, I'm feeling bad. Like, no, dude, go all out, because you can't get that time back. We all have a last day of playing our favorite sport, and so yeah, I would say, still go out all out every play and you know, talk to people involved with that sport that you enjoy the most and that you might not see ever again. Some college players, they might go off to the NFL. You'll never get to talk to that teammate again. For me in high school, there's some dudes on my football team that are just, working at Sonic right now that I'll never get to see again or something. But like I miss those dudes, and so um, I don't really know if we have any teammates working at Sonic right now. But shoot, maybe. I mean, you look at those dudes. Football is all they had. So um, yeah, just enjoy the people and continue to work hard because you're gonna regret it looking back in life, thinking, wow, if I could have gone an extra 10% on this play, man, I could have had these cool stats or something. But also just realize that, sports isn't everything. And so your life isn't over when you lose that big game or homecoming or something like that. So I wish I could have told myself that.
For sure, for sure. That's just some great insight and some great stuff that not everyone's been able to experience. Do you remember? I mean, this is gonna be a hard question for you, but what would you say to someone that's maybe in the opposite situation where their team's winning and they're kind of too high on themselves? Was there ever a point in your career coming off a couple wins or something that you thought, wow, I'm just, yeah. What would you say to someone that's ego maybe is a little bit too much? And can you give us some insight on that time for you where it was too much?
Um, for me, there was a time senior year we started off 2-0, which is also how we started off junior year, and we still ended up bad. Well, we ended up bad senior year, and starting off 2-0, then we went 2-8, and we just came off of a comeback victory that was like insane. Our high school section like rushed the field. I had this great play that really helped us win the game in the late in the fourth quarter where I like broke up a 2-point conversion pass or something at linebacker. And I'm not gonna lie, man, I thought it was like hot crap after that. And so I would say that kids who are like, you know, being super successful on a good team, um, Like check your ego, man. Like where are you putting your pride? Because I was putting my pride way too much in football, and I feel like that came back to bite me. And now I kind of place pride in just kind of being well-rounded. Like, just think about, are you, how are you treating people at school? Are you being a nice person? Are you respecting women? Are you, doing X, Y, Z? Because, at the end of the day, we're all going to turn to dust, and no one will give a crap about how you played in football. And so I feel like also at that time I wasn't super close to God as I am, I would say now. And yeah, like pride overall is a bad thing. Like you shouldn't have pride. And, when you're glorifying yourself, that's not good. And, God will knock you off your high horse and teach you that. He taught me that. And, which I'm ultimately grateful for. Um, but I wish I could have put more trust in God rather than trusting in myself because I thought I was the man because I'm obviously not. And He is. So, yeah, trusting God, bro.
That is, some great insight there that, even in when you look back at your career, and not necessarily your success, but team success, you're like, oh, you'd probably say it was pretty bad. But even in that, you had times where you felt the high of being a little too high and the low of being too low and just all those emotions. But just something else I believe, sports prepares you for is the highs and lows of everyday life, you're all good. Don't worry about it. All right. So my next question here for you is gonna be soccer. I have known you for quite some time, and I know soccer was your first sport. When was the time that you decided to give up on soccer? And kind of walk us through the transition of going from two sports to one sport, and just like anything about soccer, any of that.
Yes. So, soccer, I guess there are a lot of reasons involved. So yeah, the last time I was doing both soccer and football was well, I guess actually let me take this back from the beginning. So soccer was just it's always easy for any kid to play when they're super little. They're always gonna have a soccer league open, and so I was involved in that in every state that we lived in. And then coming back to Texas, still continued to enjoy soccer, still continued to be good at it. Um, and then in Salado, I felt kind of slighted by the coaches there, um, because I made like the JVB team instead of the JVA team, and I'm like, dude, are you like freaking kidding me? In hindsight, I think the coach kind of did that to push me, but I was like, okay, dude, I'm not putting up like this is stupid, and they moved me to JVA like the next week or something. So I felt slighted by that. I was also told by one of the assistant coaches that like, hey, if you want to be on varsity this next year, you need to start doing club soccer or something. And I was in sophomore year, about to be on varsity junior year for football. I'm like, I don't really have time for this. And so you aren't doing club ball with football ball if you aren't doing club ball and basketball or soccer or baseball, those kinds of less physical sports as football, where you do club ball in. I didn't have that benefit of doing it year round like other kids. And then another thing was I was doing soccer and football both at the same time. So while I was in soccer, football is king in Texas, and so I had to go work out with the varsity in the morning, with football, and then I would have to go back down and play soccer, also in the morning, and so I'd be getting like two workouts in, and I was just getting exhausted from the lifting with football, and then the cardio of soccer, was just tough, and then I knew my chances of being a starter on varsity was greater with football, and I knew pretty sure I thought the coaches liked me a lot more in football too. And then also the people in football, not to diss any of my soccer bros, but dude, shoot, some of y'all are weirdos. Y'all probably think that of Americano football if you're from Europe, but here in America and Texas, some of the soccer kids are just kind of strange. I just, you know, shoot, some of you soccer kids must have thought I was strange, but the football dudes, those were my dudes. I had more friends in there, so that was a big thing as well.
Alrighty, that's pretty good. Now we're gonna transition to talking about your future with sports, just kind of like what that looks like for you. obviously with the injury, but is it rec leagues? Is it how are you going to get involved even when you're beyond college? How you is it fandom? Like what is your future of sports and what do you think that's going to do for your life?
My future of sports is I know we love sports on our respective channels, but for me personally, it's kind of over. But I'm also showcasing it with my YouTube channel, Butter on a Stick. Make sure you follow that. But yeah, me personally doing any kind of sports, mostly just rec leagues and stuff. Um, I'm injured now. At this internship I'm doing this summer, I've actually, I've bumped into a lot of people who are like, "Hey, what's up with the shoulder? Or what happened to the other guy?" Asking me all these questions about it. And some people actually think because I just now had my surgery taken care of that I play for A&M, and they're like, "Oh, so you play for the football team?" I'm like, "No, no, I do not play anymore." That's super. It's so flattering, but yeah, probably just rec leagues, that kind of stuff. I would say, um, yeah, and cheering on A&M, being Texas A&M Aggie football #1 fan. Gig 'em, that's just. About all I'll be. I am a 5'11" white dude, so
Now, your fandom for A&M, let's just, talk about that for a second. Is the future plan, future season ticket holder? Is it just watching it on the TV? Just what do you think? I mean, right now it's so hard. You never know, what God's gonna do with your life. But if you had to choose right now, what do you think that future is gonna be for you?
I mean, if I can afford it, um, if I get into law school and become a lawyer, or if my political science degree gets me a good enough job, um, then I would love to be a season ticket holder if I can afford it. Um, if I am a political science major who does not get a good job whatsoever, maybe not. I'll be fine with watching it from the TV because, um, I mean, that thing sees with higher quality than my own eyes. Um, Also depends how good A&M is. If they keep going, Texas 8-4, we all know those jokes. If they continue that path with football, then I don't know how interested I'll be in giving that system money. Um, Still so much fun to watch, but yeah, I also love going to basketball games at A&M. They're almost more fun and kind of laid back, and there's more of them as well. And it's like, hey, if you're free on Tuesday night, it's easy to come in. You don't have to wait on a ticket pull. Um, if it's included in your sports pass, and yeah, I would love to still attend games and yeah, maybe just go to a big one every other year. Just even like a simple one, like we're playing UTSA and Utah State this year. I'd definitely still go to a game like that if I want a cheaper seat or something or a good seat. But yeah, I'd definitely still go to games and stuff. I'm a huge fan.
Gotcha. And you've kind of talked about it already, but just you as a person, your plans for the future in terms of you talked about your, law school and your internship. Just talk about what you're doing right now to set up success in the future, because that is a really important thing when you are our age at a time of transitioning. What are you doing now to set yourself up for success in the future?
Yeah. Right now I am doing a law internship, so shout out Corbin Stapler and Clapper attorneys down in Killeen, K Town. Shout out the Dirty K as well. Um, yeah, doing that internship. Then I'm gonna have an on-campus job with the Association of Former Students this semester, and this year, uh, calling people up to donate money to A&M. So I know I was talking crap about A&M going 8-4, but you know,
I think that's more academic donation.
maybe, yeah. Hey, NIL is a thing now, though, dude. Keep funding it. Maybe we'll go, 10-2 is a good season for A&M nowadays. So, um, but yeah, for my future, I'm hoping to get into law school because I'll have a professor ask us at A&M, hey, what do y'all want to do? How many of y'all want to go to law school? And all the political science majors, like 80% of them, raise their hands wanting to do that. So either that or working for the state government, maybe. Um, yeah, I would love either one of those jobs. Really, I don't even know if it has to be law. I feel like I would be disappointed if I don't get into law school because with my internship, I'm finding out that I like it. But as long as I get a job, that has fine hours and I'm able to like, take care of my family, like that is like fine enough for me. And, that I can still have enough money to eat out every once in a while. So yeah, because my goal has always been getting that Aggie ring. And so now I got to think, what do I want to do now, dude? Shoot, I don't know. But we'll see. My mom kind of says, guys our age are like adult-ish, and I guess, we aren't fully mature. I mean, like I have a rap album coming out this summer, and I also have like a YouTube channel, but I'm also doing a law internship. So it is like a strange, uh, transitioning time. But yeah, just future plans, get the best job after graduation that'll open up, I guess.
Everyone wants to just get the best job. But those are great ideas. And then that internship really seems like you're setting yourself up. One of my last questions here. Obviously you go to school, and you're gonna have a on-campus job. What's the work slash home life balance look like to you? And how much of a struggle has that been trying to figure out?
Um, it hasn't been tough this summer, just because it's the summer, and so as a student, I've been off. But once I get into school, that kind of grind. Um, my schedule is set up well, but I'm definitely gonna have something to do like every hour of my life. Because I'll go to work right after my classes finish at like 3:30 or something like that. Um, so yeah, that might be a little tough. My girlfriend goes to Tarleton State here in Texas, and so we're doing long distance, and she's hoping to come to A&M soon enough. Uh, but yeah, that can be tough. Uh, just keeping up good communication while being away from each other and having different schedules. And so, yeah, basically what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be waking up at like 7 every morning because I have morning classes, which everyone says to avoid, but I'm having to take them anyways. And then I'll do my part-time job probably like 2 or 3 times a week um, until like 9 o'clock, I believe. And yeah, and then I'll probably call my woman around dinner time and go to sleep. Sadly, as soon as possible. I'm a night owl, but yeah, that's kind of what my schedule is looking like.
Sounds good. Just a couple more questions for you. Give me two players that you just absolutely love, two favorite of all time, and give me one player you dislike.
Hmm. Okay, two players I absolutely love. Oh gosh. Oh wait, can you pause this so I can get my computer? Or no?
Alrighty, we're back. He had to, think about this one for quite some time. But so we got two players that you absolutely love, and give us a little bit of background of why you love them so much, and then one player that you dislike. Let's start with the two players that you love.
So I have a long list of these players. Gonna pick out two though, of course. And I'm sorry I had to make y'all wait on this because number one's got to be Johnny Manziel, dude. That boy knows how to play ball the right way and also the wrong way. He's just so much fun every time you watch him. Um, I'm an A&M fan, and so I was spoiled at an early age getting to watch a Heisman quarterback uh, do his thing. I kind of thought that's how football was supposed to be played, and then finding out, that it wasn't. Football was almost kind of boring to me because I was like 10 years old when Johnny was doing his thing, and so he just made the game like so much like fun, like legit video game player. Um, sad he didn't pan out in the NFL. Sad he was like a horrible person as well. Um, I have RG3 on my list. I'm not gonna lie. I wish, A&M maybe would have had RG3 instead of Johnny Manziel just because he's like a better dude, and A&M kind of holds core values, and I think highly of A&M, and M, and so I don't like that Johnny Manziel is a big drunkard, but he's chill now. He seems like a cool dude. Um, but yeah, I'm always gonna love Johnny no matter what. Just hands down the most exciting A&M player of all time, 100%. And so, love A&M, love that guy. Number two, I had number two on a list down here one time, and I had Cooper DeJean. I think I was maybe gonna do like a gag here. Um, and you know what? I'm gonna freaking go with it. Cooper DeJean is another player I love, just one of many. Um, White cornerback. Like the last time that happened was what, Jason Sehorn in 2004. I think they might have flirted with the idea of making a white cornerback. Um, and you know, at other times in different NFL seasons, but I was so pissed. You can ask my dad. Well, I don't know if any of y'all know my dad, but you can ask him. I was mad when the Eagles drafted him in the second round because I thought you know I knew he was going to be good, and he was. Talk about just playing it the right way. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, Tate knows what I'm talking about, bro. Um, yeah, that's what I'm freaking talking about. Shoot, we're watching basketball right now though on this video. Um, Shout out Alex Caruso. That's a very A&M player, dude, who plays it the right way. He just won a championship. I think I might convert to a Thunder fan. So if you want a basketball player, Alex Caruso. Hey man, I mean we're close to Oklahoma, so I had to choose a team. Um, but I love that guy, just his dunking highlights, and he's a little dude. Um, Craziness. I love the bald eagle.
Now we gotta talk about, unfortunately, the player you hate. I don't want you to get too much into this because we want to spread love, not hate. But everyone has a player they dislike for whatever reasons. Just kind of explain that. Who do you dislike the most in all of sports?
Oh, dude, I hate Aaron Rodgers. Um, you know, he beats the Cowboys, and so that's almost the only reason why I hate him. I'll talk to other Cowboys fans even, and some just NFL fans, and they're like, why do you hate Aaron Rodgers, man? It's Aaron Rodgers. Why don't you hate the Eagles? Why do you hate the Packers? The Packers always beat the Cowboys when it like matters most. And I know all of y'all know the Dez catch. It's called the Dez catch for a reason. Um, and then he beat us with that pass to Jared Cook on the sideline when the Cowboys somehow went 12-4 with Zeke and Dak as rookies. Um, and so that was super painful to see. Um, and then yeah, one of the last times I cried was when A&M lost to the Packers again in the playoffs in Dallas. Yeah, that was against Jordan Love. But sorry, talking about Aaron Rodgers specifically, I mostly just hate the Packers as well. But Aaron Rodgers just seems like a little, you know, jackhole. You know what I'm saying? I think I've kind of chilled off the guy lately because I have been spreading some love and no hate. Um, because I kind of feel bad for him with the Jets. Kind of sucks that didn't pan out, but I mean he has a Super Bowl, so screw him. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. He always has this blank stare across his face. Um, Really just pisses me off. So yeah, mostly just because he's good. But yeah,
Alrighty, I think that's gonna stop our interview today. Thank you, Davis, for joining me. I'll be linking his Spotify down below in the description, along with his YouTube channel. Make sure y'all go check him out and check out his YouTube channel for the Big Ten rankings I'll be dropping hopefully later on this month and hopefully this week. And we're gonna get into those, and I'm gonna be on there talking about that. I know this has mainly been a basketball channel so far, but I do know my way around the Big Ten, specifically most of those Pac-12 teams, and so we're gonna go ahead and talk about that off camera, Davis. I don't want to leave you empty-handed, so we're gonna go get you a sports card of your choosing. So we're gonna go do that. But just thank y'all for watching. Remember to eat chicken wings, and also remember we're done with the Mr. Beast era of YouTube. Not everything has to be $1,000. Let's keep it simple, keep it fun, keep it entertaining, and keep it educational. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Thank you.